Morning to you. Well, these will be the Supreme Court's last rulings of this session before they go on a summer break. And one of the most anticipated decisions will address President Trump and injunctions on birthright citizenship. That's simply the idea that a child born on U.S. soil is automatically a U.S. citizen, even to parents of undocumented immigrants. President Trump says he wants to end that and sign an executive order blocking it. But challengers call that unconstitutional, arguing birthright is protected by the 14th Amendment. Now, Supreme Court justices are making a decision, not so much on yes or no to whether birthright citizenship should be allowed, but they'll decide if federal judges have the authority to block President Trump's executive order on a blanket nationwide level. A constitutional law expert from Syracuse University helps explain Trump's side of the argument, essentially saying the courts can only speak case by case and cannot make a blanket nationwide injunction.
Trump administration is raising a procedural challenge and saying district courts can't issue a nationwide injunction that stops the Trump administration from stripping people of their rights across the nation. They can only do it with respect to the parties before them.
Here's another look at other decisions expected to come down in just really a few minutes. A case that questions if parents can opt their kids out of studies, including LGBTQ books, a challenge to a preventative task force under the Affordable Care Act, an accusation of gerrymandering in Louisiana's congressional districts, verifying ages for porn websites in Texas, and offering subsidies for internet and phone lines in rural areas. President Trump appointed 3 justices in his first term as president, giving the court a 6-3 conservative majority. However, we have seen cases where the court has ruled against him. Those decisions set to come down coming up in the next hour. Andre.
All right, thank you so much, James. Time now, 7:04. For more on what to expect, we welcome Professor David Levine of UC Law San Francisco. David, you've been following a decision that just came out moments ago. Can you tell us what that is?
Right. Well, the big one that we've all been waiting for actually came out first rather than last. And just moments ago, Justice Barrett, for the normal 6-3 majority, has held that the administration has prevailed regarding what's called universal or nationwide injunctions. And the issue was, as James just said, that the issue has to do with when a court issues an order, to whom does it apply and where are you bound? And so the administration had asked to take up that issue all by itself, separate from the birthright citizenship issue. So it was a very smart strategic move, which definitely paid off today for the administration. So what it will mean is when a case is filed, that the parties themselves, if they get an injunction, they will be protected. And that's the normal rule. That if, say, you had a case, one of these cases is a bunch of women who are pregnant saying we need to know, will our children be citizens or not, or cases where the states have come in. And what Justice Barrett said is the normal rule prevails, which is the injunctions ought to be written to protect the rights of the plaintiffs withstanding to sue and not go beyond that. So it'll have to do with the structure of particular suits. So we won't know until this case goes back to the lower courts exactly what it will mean. But basically, it's a big win for the administration.
For the administration here, so they can keep their plan in place while the case works its way through. Is that the
it's going to be more complicated.
Okay.
It's going to be a mess. And here's why. Because with these birthright citizenship cases, so the administration, I think on the first day, January 20th, January 21st, Mr. Trump issued this very controversial order regarding birthright citizenship. Every single judge who has looked at that has said that's unconstitutional. The 14th Amendment and Supreme Court law going way back. And then in each of those main cases, I think there's 3 of them across the country. The closest one here is up in Seattle. Each one has said, and this applies nationwide. And so what the administration did is that by breaking up that issue of nationwide injunctions from birthright citizenship, what we now are going to have is, let's say for simplicity, we have these 3 cases. The plaintiffs in those 3 cases will be protected, but in another place. So let's say people in, I don't know, just pick a state, Texas, Alabama, whatever you like, where the state has not joined as a party to the case. Then if and when some child is born, as presumably be 30 days from now, born and neither parent is either, I guess, has a green card or is a citizen.
yeah.
Somebody who's here as a tourist, somebody who's here on a temporary work visa, somebody who's here on a student visa. If both parents are in that same status, undocumented, then in those places, those people will not be citizens. So we're going to have this enormous mess
So
that will
that
have to be sorted out. It's a very big deal.
Wow.
Now, the opinion was written for the issue of nationwide injunctions, which has become an issue, particularly over the last 10 years or so. But the administration, it's the strategy of asking the Supreme Court, handle this by itself.
Right.
And don't you worry about that birthright citizenship part.
Slick,
Turned out to be a really, really smart move. Again, it's going to be an enormous mess. I cannot emphasize enough how confusing it's going to be. There are ways to change the cases a little bit using the class action device to fix some of this. But for the time being, all I can say is there's going to be this crazy turmoil with respect to babies born, not right now, but 30 days from now.
Which is tomorrow, in a person's life who's expecting a child.
So I guess get some Pitocin out and get those babies born soon. I mean, it's insane. It's really going to be complicated.
There's a lot to digest in this. I will read a short part of the conclusion of Justice Amy Coney Barrett's opinion for the court on behalf of the 6 conservatives. She writes, federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies consistent with the authority Congress has given them. When a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power to. Key?
Right. Yeah, no, totally. And that's Professor Barrett writing. You know, she was a Notre Dame professor before she first got on one court and then the Supreme Court. That is the normal rule. It is absolutely the normal rule with respect to injunctions. But what had happened is that in certain cases, the district courts had felt when it's the federal government is the defendant and it's a nationwide policy, that they ought to be able to issue a nationwide injunction. And this is both under Democratic presidents as well as Republican presidents. And so what they're doing is saying, we're going to follow the normal rule and let the chips fall where they may.
I want to check in with you a little later because I want to understand the implications of other